Okay, so how did you do? Let's have a look at these sentences. Number one, I knew it would have changed a lot, yet I still longed to go back there. Remember, if you long for something, you really, really want it. And yet is a synonym for but in this case. Okay. Um, Simon always had his head in a book, whereas his brother spent most of his time watching television. Whereas, okay, just a simple contrast. Um, she should be able to join us for dinner, provided that her plane arrives on time. Okay, only if, provided that her plane arrives on time. You can also do it without that. You could just say, provided her plane arrives on time. Okay. Uh, Number four, as the plumber still hasn't come, we won't be able to use the bathroom today. Oh dear. Okay. And again, you could put because here if you wanted. Number five is something that you would like to have this. If only Jessica were here, she would know what to do. Now, if you can remember wishes, you could also say, I wish Jessica were here. You can also say, I wish, or if only Jessica was here. Okay, it's a little more formal with the were. So do you remember that after wishes and things like if only, we have to go back to the tense, back one tense, because it's a hypothetical situation. Um, I wish the coronavirus wasn't here. Okay, not I wish the coronavirus isn't here. And remember, if your wish is in the past, you have to go back to your past perfect. Okay, I wish the coronavirus hadn't come to Uruguay. So with wishes, unreal situations, hypothetical situations, remember we tend to go back to a past verb. Okay, and in this sense, you could say was or were with the verb to be after a wish or an if only. Okay, now Nigel loves hiking. Okay. Um, Nigel loves hiking, as does his girlfriend, Georgia. Okay. So we could also put so does, but in this sense, we're going to put as does. It's a little less common, something a bit more interesting. And finally, with this one, it's a negative. I don't eat meat, nor does my partner. Okay. Another way of saying nor is neither. Neither, Neither. I can't write it here, sorry. Neither, but you could also say neither, has two pronunciations. Neither, neither, nor. All of those can go in here. I don't eat meat, nor does my partner, neither does my partner. Well, neither's the same word, it's a different pronunciation, but both are okay. All right, so I hope you did okay with that. I'm going to take us back to where we were on the previous page, and we go back again. And in this case now, I'd like you to have a go at exercise 4. I think we did. Did we do everything down there? Let me check. Yes, we did. Okay, there's a language tip here. Be careful to use the correct word with nor. It is followed by a verb and then the subject. As is also used in this way. I wasn't happy, nor was I sad. In other words, this is what I was talking about, the question order. Okay, buying a car is expensive, as is insurance. Is insurance expensive? Again, we've got the verb here in front of, okay, in front of the subject. But it's basically what I said about making a question order. So what I would like you to do now is have a go at this exercise. Choose the correct alternative in each sentence. Okay, I'm going to ask you to pause the video in this time. Have a go again. Use the video here if you haven't got the book. Okay, so I'm going to just pause for a moment and then I'll continue speaking, but I'd like you to pause the video. Okay, So I hope you paused it and you're not just going through and listening and getting the answers. Okay. Moving then on to exercise 4. It says living in the inner city does not mean you are completely cut off from nature. Negative. Nor does it mean you will be less active than you would be if you lived in the country. Number 2. Although there have been efforts to create pedestrian malls and make the inner city more attractive to businesses, as yet measures have not borne fruit. Nice expression at the end, to bear fruit. B-E-A-R is to bear fruit. Past is born, and that's basically to give fruit. In other words, to give a positive result. It's an idiomatic expression, this one. Okay. Did your work bear fruit? Okay. The past is born, but it's actually bear fruit. All right. Number 3, as long as people continue to find living in large houses surrounded by gardens desirable, it will be difficult to persuade them to move back to the inner city. Okay. Number 4, in the city door-to-door recycling collections are made weekly, whereas those who live in the countryside often have to take their own rubbish to recycling centres. Okay. Number 5, people don't understand the benefits of inner city living. Provided they are shown the potential advantages, they will begin to move back from the suburbs. And finally, despite cars being environmentally unfriendly, many people will refuse to walk or cycle as long as they continue to live far away from the city, from the centre of the city. Okay, the answer here was as long as. Sorry about the pause there. Okay, and finally, I would like you to have a go at this one. Match the underlined phrases with as in the sentences to the meanings in the box. Okay, so here you would have as. Okay, as time begins to run out, the need to take action is increasingly urgent. Okay, the meaning here is while. Okay, so in this sense, as is meaning during this time. All right, so again, I'm just going to pause for a minute. I would like you just to pause this video. I'm not going to move to another video now. And then when you've had a look at that exercise, try to match them. I'll give you the answer. And once again, please don't just keep playing the video and listen to the answers. Okay, so in this one, as we said, this could be a synonym for while. As time begins to run out, the need to take action is increasingly urgent. Okay, in this one, as for people who refuse to accept. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole sentence. This means regarding. Regarding means talking about, talking about these people, as for these people, regarding these people. So now we're sort of taking us to this topic, talking about people, as for, regarding. Okay. The government as yet has not invested sufficiently. Okay, this one is until now. Okay. The situation as it is seems alarming, but there is cause for optimism. Could be the situation we're in at the moment. Okay, as it is would be current. Current means the actual situation. It's happening now. We don't normally say actual. We normally say the current situation, current events in the news. This is what's happening today. Okay. Number 5, as the government has failed to solve the problem, it's up to local communities to take action. The one you would put here, you could also replace this with because, but because is not an option, so we're going to use since. Remember, as, since, and because are all synonyms, okay? but this one, since and as, are less common than because, so we like to see them here. And finally, as from next Monday is going to be starting next Monday. Okay, starting next Monday. Or you could also say starting on next Monday, but starting next Monday. Okay, that's today's lesson. Covered. Should we go back? Maybe there's something interesting in this text. Probably you're tired of my voice by now. Sorry about that, but I'm just going to go and have a look. What could we find here? When I was a child, we lived in a lovely old house, and it backed onto. Okay, something backs onto it. The back part of the house, it can back onto a road, back onto a beach. That means that the beach is behind it. My sister and I spent many happy afternoons. I have often thought about that house and wished I could go back a few weeks ago. Okay, bed and breakfast is like Airbnb. You know, this is where you get somewhere cheap to stay, and that it was possible to stay there. We were both imagining our. Okay, this is what I noticed: a blissful weekend. Bliss is extreme happiness. If you're really happy, you are experiencing bliss. And to use it as an adjective, we can describe something as blissful, blissful, a blissful weekend. Okay. Is there anything else here? Like, the problem is that the past was not as we imagined. Wonderful. The people who ran, you run a bed and breakfast, completely destroyed. Okay, it's not just destroyed, it's completely destroyed. Everything that I had loved, past perfect. That house, painted turquoise, cut down, past perfect again. The trees I used to climb, here's the provided. They get planning permission, they were built. Block out, change. Whether or not, again, this is the nice expression we talked about. Will depend on your personal taste once it's deserted. A stretch of white sand. Okay. A long area that goes on for a long way, we describe it as a stretch of road, a stretch of beach. Okay. Beach umbrellas, the author. Okay, the past is a foreign country. Okay, so yeah, I'm kind of like this text. I don't notice so much advanced language here as we did in the previous text. It's written very much in a chatty style. In other words, it's just written like it's a blog. So I'm only really seeing two things in there apart from the conjunctions, because grammar, don't forget, also demonstrates advanced language. There's not so much advanced vocabulary here, but with these conjunctions, we're demonstrating advanced grammar. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope that wasn't too long. And I hope to be speaking to all of you, if possible, this afternoon. I have to go into the Institute for that, so I'll have a better Wi-Fi connection. Hopefully it's going to work. Okay, so hopefully speak.